Ladies and gentlemen, success never comes in one giant leap. It comes in tiny daily steps that the world rarely notices until the results can no longer be ignored. You see, champions are not made in moments of glory. They are made in quiet, repetitive hours when no one is watching. If you want to build success, wealth, health, mastery, anything worthwhile, you must build consistency like a champion. Let me share with you 5 powerful keys that the greatest achievers of our time have used to anchor their lives with unstoppable consistency. There is a force within each of us, an unseen yet undeniable fire that longs to burn with purpose. But without a spark, without fuel, the fire dies before it ever lights the path to greatness. The human spirit, like an untamed river, will wander aimlessly unless it is channeled by a clear and commanding purpose. Those who drift through life are not lacking in talent nor in opportunity. They are simply devoid of direction. And where there is no direction, there is no destiny. If you desire to stand among the victors, if you long to carve your name into the wall of the immortals, you must begin not with talent, not with resources, but with purpose. Burning, undeniable, consuming purpose. But purpose is not a thing you stumble upon. It is not something that finds you by accident. It must be chosen, and once chosen, it must be declared. It must live in your bones, echo in your heartbeat, and speak louder than the voices of doubt around you. Purpose is a decision, a demand, and a declaration of war on mediocrity. It is the line in the sand that says, from this moment on, I will not retreat. I will not excuse. I will not delay. I will rise. Look into the lives of every great man or woman who's left an indelible mark on the world, and you will find one common thread woven through every trial and triumph, a definite purpose. They did not always have the clearest path, nor did they always have the support of the world, but they had a mission that meant more than sleep, more than comfort, more than applause. A mission that whispered to them in the silence and roared within them in the chaos. That is what drives consistency. That is what silences fear. Consider the story of a young girl from Compton who picked up a racket not just to play but to conquer. Her name is Serena Williams. She did not become the greatest by chance. She became the greatest because her father planted a seed of purpose in her soul and watered it with belief. He told her, not casually but with conviction, "You're going to be the greatest tennis player in the world." That statement did more than inspire her. It transformed her. It became the cornerstone of her identity. And when she walked onto the court, she wasn't just playing a game. She was answering a calling. There were days when her body screamed in agony, when the world booed her, when critics wrote her off. But her purpose stood taller than the pain. It was louder than the noise. She didn't show up because she was always motivated. She showed up because she had a fire that refused to die. That fire, her definite purpose, was her advantage, and it can be yours too. Too often, we confuse lack of consistency with lack of discipline, but it's not discipline that we lack. It's a strong enough reason. You see, discipline without desire is a chain, but discipline fueled by purpose is freedom. When you have a why that makes your heart race and your soul weep, then excuses lose their power, distractions fade, resistance weakens, and suddenly you begin to move with force, not because you have to, but because you can't not. Let me tell you something raw and real. Life is going to test you. It will bend you. It will stretch you to the point where giving up feels more logical than holding on. But purpose does not let you quit. Purpose whispers, one more rep, one more try, one more step. When your muscles fail and your willpower wanes, purpose becomes the hand that lifts you, the fire that carries you, the voice that reminds you who you were born to become. But you must choose that purpose. You must define it with such clarity that the very cells in your body align with it. Don't say you want to be rich. Say you want to build wealth to break the chains of generational poverty. Don't say you want success. Say you want to become the kind of person who inspires others to rise from their own ashes. Make your purpose so powerful, so personal, that it stings when you ignore it and soothes you when you pursue it. Write it down. Speak it out loud. Let it consume your mornings and haunt your dreams. Let it shape your friendships, your routines, your thoughts. Build your life around it. Build your work around it. Because when purpose takes root in your soul, it becomes impossible to settle for less than you're capable of. You stop negotiating with your future. You stop making excuses for your present. You stop tolerating the lies your fear has whispered to you for too long. There is nothing, absolutely nothing, more dangerous to failure than a human being who knows exactly why they're alive. When you carry a definite purpose inside you, the world notices. It can feel your intensity before you speak. It can sense your determination before you act. People will wonder how you remain so focused, how you keep going when it's hard. But they won't understand. They won't understand that you're not moving from pressure. You're moving from power, and that power is purpose. Purpose will not just change your habits. It will change your identity. You will stop calling yourself lazy. You will stop labeling yourself average. You will begin to see yourself as chosen, as driven, as disciplined, because you finally have a reason to be. And when that happens, the mountains that once intimidated you will start to move. The doors that were closed will begin to creak open, and the person you always dreamed of becoming will finally show up, not because of luck, but because of intention. And let me say this, don't wait for the world to approve your purpose. Don't wait for applause to validate your vision. If it burns in you, it belongs to you. Let others laugh, let others doubt, let others shrink, but you build, you pursue, you endure, because while they wonder what might have been, you'll be too busy building what will be. So I ask you, what's your fire? What is the mission that wakes you up at 4 a.m. and won't let you sleep? Find it, name it, and build your life around it like your destiny depends on it, because it does. So it is a truth known to anyone who has ever attempted to reach greatness. The key to success lies not in the fleeting bursts of willpower, but in the systems you build, the structures you create, and the habits you ingrain into your daily life. Willpower is often seen as the engine that drives us toward our goals, but in reality, it is more like a battery, limited, and over time, it drains. You may have woken up countless times, resolved to be the best version of yourself, only to find that your enthusiasm fades by the afternoon. This is where true success differs from mere intention. But look at those who have achieved the extraordinary. Michael Phelps, the legendary swimmer, for example. He has won 23 Olympic gold medals, a feat so remarkable that it seems almost beyond human capacity. Yet his success was not the result of unrelenting willpower or constant motivation. It was the product of a system, a well-organized, well-structured daily routine that made success inevitable. For 5 years, Phelps woke up at the same time every day, swam countless laps, stuck to a carefully designed diet, and followed a rigid schedule. Even on Christmas Day, when most people would be focused on family, food, and celebration, Phelps was in the water, tirelessly training. Why? Because he didn't rely on his willpower to get him out of bed. He didn't need to question whether he felt like training. His system dictated his actions. His habits had become so ingrained that they no longer required thought. They were automatic. This is where you, too, must shift your thinking. You don't need heroic levels of discipline to achieve extraordinary things. You don't need to battle yourself every morning to summon the will to take action. What you need is a system. One that becomes so ingrained in your daily life that you perform the actions required for success without even thinking about it. This is the secret to achieving consistency, to creating results that are not dependent on fluctuating moods or the whims of motivation. A system works for you, not against you. It guides you when your energy is high and when it's low. It is a structure that you can trust when your willpower has worn thin. Consider your life and your goals. Do you rely on bursts of inspiration to get you through? Or do you have a system that drives you forward even when inspiration is nowhere to be found? The difference between those who achieve their dreams and those who fall short is often not about the strength of their willpower, but about the strength of their system. Think of your life as a series of small, consistent actions stacked upon one another. Over time, those actions compound into massive achievements. But to make those actions happen, to make consistency your ally, you must first build a structure, an unwavering, dependable system. It doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, simplicity is your best friend. Set a schedule and stick to it. Create a rhythm to your day that makes it easy to follow through. Your habits should be like the gears of a machine, each one turning smoothly and consistently, moving you closer to your goal. Use reminders to keep yourself on track. It could be an alarm that nudges you to start your day, or a note on your desk that reminds you of your bigger mission. These reminders are like the compasses that guide you when the path becomes unclear, and they help you remain focused on your ultimate goal. One of the most powerful tools in building your system is the concept of habit stacking. You can harness the power of one habit to trigger another, creating a seamless flow of actions that propel you forward. For example, if you already have a habit of brushing your teeth every morning, you can stack a new habit right on top of it. Immediately after brushing your teeth, perhaps you can take 5 minutes to meditate or review your goals for the day. This simple act of combining habits turns your system into a powerful, unstoppable force. You are no longer relying on willpower to start your day because the structure of your morning routine has already set you on the path to success. The beauty of creating a system is that it doesn't just work for the big goals, it works for everything. It works for getting fit, building wealth, advancing in your career, or nurturing your relationships. By automating your path, you remove the mental clutter and unnecessary decisions that drain your energy. When you design your life with systems, every choice becomes easier. You simply follow the plan, and consistency becomes your greatest ally. What happens when your system is in place? You begin to see results, real, measurable, and consistent progress. The time and energy you put into building your system is returned to you tenfold in the form of momentum. And momentum, as we know, is a force to be reckoned with. It propels you forward with an unstoppable drive, even when the going gets tough. When the obstacles arise, when the challenges seem insurmountable, your system doesn't falter. It is a machine that keeps running regardless of external circumstances. Your discipline becomes second nature because you created an environment where success is inevitable. It is not a matter of willpower anymore. It is a matter of following the path that you've set before you. And when you reach that moment, that peak of success that once seemed so distant, you will understand that it wasn't a single act of great willpower that got you there. It was the small, consistent steps you took each day. It was the systems you built and the habits you created. The great achievers of the world don't rely on sporadic bursts of energy. They don't wait for inspiration to strike. Instead, they have mastered the art of creating systems that don't just take them to their goals, but carry them through every challenge that arises along the way. As you embark on your journey, remember this. You don't have to be extraordinary to achieve greatness. You simply need to make greatness inevitable by creating systems that guide you to success. When you do this, you will no longer be a prisoner to your willpower. Instead, you will be the architect of your own destiny, designing a life that flows with purpose and consistency. Each day you will wake up knowing exactly what to do, and you will do it, not because you have to, but because it has become who you are. And in the end, it is that consistency, that unwavering commitment to your system that will lead you to the success you've always dreamed of. Success is not a fleeting moment of brilliance. It is not about the high points, the dramatic peaks where everything seems to come together in a burst of glory. Success is built in the quiet moments, the repetitions, the unseen efforts that often go unnoticed by those watching from the sideline. It is in these unremarkable tasks, these seemingly dull routines, that champions are forged. Yeah, they understand something others overlook. The power of consistency, the strength found in the most mundane of actions. We often find ourselves seeking excitement, novelty, and change. The allure of something new, the thrill of new beginnings, and the rush of new experiences are seductive, pulling us away from the tasks that require patience and persistence. But here is the harsh truth that few dare to speak. The path to greatness is not paved with novelty. It is built by the relentless repetition of simple actions that, over time, compound into mastery. Champions are not simply those who can handle the pressure of competition or the challenge of the moment. They are those who can face the repetition of routine with unwavering focus, day in and day out. Think about the greatest athletes, the most successful business leaders, the renowned artists. Behind their dazzling performances, their achievements that leave us in awe, lies a simple truth. Their success is rooted in the mundane. Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest basketball players the world has ever seen, didn't get there by relying on talent alone. He embraced the boring stuff, the repetition. He practiced the same basic footwork drills every day, not for a few weeks, not for a few months, but for years. Why? Because he knew that mastery is not found in the moments of brilliance. It is found in the unwavering commitment to repeat the basics over and over until they become second nature. You see, it is easy to show up when things are exciting, when the spotlight is shining, and when the energy is high. It's noble to show up when everything is on the line, when the challenge is tough and the stakes are high. But what separates the truly exceptional from the rest of us is the ability to show up when it's boring, when there are no fans cheering, no applause waiting, no rewards in sight, just the quiet, persistent work of refining your craft, your skill, your purpose. Too often we look for shortcuts, for the quick fix, for the magic formula that will bring us success without the hard work. But here's the reality. There are no shortcuts. There is no substitute for putting in the hours, for doing the work that may seem unimportant in the moment, but adds up over time. There's no glamorous way to get there. It's about showing up, doing the work, even when you feel like no one is watching. Even when it feels monotonous, even when it feels like you're not making any progress. That is where champions are born. We must stop chasing novelty. The allure of something new, something different, something exciting is a trap that will keep us from the steady, consistent effort that leads to success. It's in the boring stuff, the small, seemingly insignificant tasks, that we build the foundation for something greater. That is where the magic happens. It's when you stop seeking the next big thing and commit to the grind, to the process, that you begin to see results that others can only dream of. Consistency is the key. The work that changes your life will often feel unremarkable. It will be easy to doubt yourself, to question if it's worth it, to wonder if anyone notices or cares. But you must keep going, because over time, the boring stuff begins to add up, and what once seemed like a small, insignificant effort becomes the foundation for something extraordinary. When you look back, you'll see that the boring stuff was the most important part of your journey. It was the repetition, the discipline, the commitment to excellence that shaped you into who you are. So, what does this mean for you? It means that if you want to reach the highest levels of success, you need to embrace the boring stuff, the tasks that seem small, the ones that no one else wants to do, the ones that are easy to overlook. Those are the tasks that will determine your future. You don't have to be a genius. You don't have to have some special talent. You just have to be willing to show up every day, to put in the work, and to stay consistent even when the excitement fades and the novelty wears off. Don't wait for inspiration. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for someone else to tell you that you're on the right track. You already know what needs to be done. It's in the small actions, the repetitive tasks, the unexciting efforts that the real work gets done. The longer you delay, the further away you get from the person you are capable of becoming. The longer you procrastinate, the more you rob yourself of the opportunity to become the best version of yourself. The difference between those who succeed and those who fall short is simply this. Champions show up, not just when it's easy, not just when it's exciting, but when it's boring. It's easy to overlook the importance of repetition, to believe that success requires some kind of breakthrough or sudden realization. But the truth is that greatness is a result of countless hours of doing the same thing over and over. It's about showing up and giving your best, even when no one is watching. And when you do this long enough, when you embrace the process, when you fall in love with the boring stuff, something incredible happens. You change, you grow, you become better, and ultimately, you succeed. So, today, choose to embrace the mundane. Choose to show up even when the excitement is gone. Choose to do the work that no one else wants to do. And in time, the repetition will pay off, the boring stuff will become unforgettable, and you will become the champion you were always meant to be. In the pursuit of greatness, in the journey to unlock our highest potential, there exists a simple but profound truth. Progress is the key to transformation. But let me be clear, progress isn't something you wait for. It's something you actively track, measure, and refine. The most successful individuals in history were not simply lucky, they were relentless in their pursuit, always aware of where they stood and where they needed to go. Now, what do I mean by this? It's the idea that what gets measured gets improved. It's no coincidence that the most accomplished individuals in any field know their numbers, their results, and their progress with a level of precision that most people would consider obsessive. But here's the thing, it's not obsession, it's a deliberate choice to achieve. The act of tracking your progress transforms abstract goals into tangible steps. And those steps, no matter how small they seem, lead to monumental achievements over time. When you track something, you bring it into the realm of consciousness. It becomes real, not just a dream or a wish, but a goal within reach. The power of seeing something evolve before your very eyes cannot be overstated. Think about it. Champions in every arena of life, be it business, sports, or personal development, are not casual with their goals. They do not operate in the shadows of uncertainty. Instead, they have a clear, unwavering focus. They review their goals regularly. They track their progress, and they course correct often. They know that each step, each small victory matters. They know that the key to success lies in knowing exactly where they stand at all times. James Clear, in his remarkable work on habit formation, reveals something incredibly powerful. People who track their habits are not just more disciplined, they are twice as likely to succeed. Success isn't about a stroke of luck. It's about clarity, and clarity comes from knowing exactly what you're doing, where you're going, and the exact steps you need to take to get there. It's about having the courage to face your progress head on and the discipline to course correct when needed. This idea, this relentless tracking of progress, is not reserved for the few who are lucky enough to be born with some special gift or talent. No, it is available to all of us. The difference lies in the willingness to measure, to track, and to refine. Every great achievement, every landmark success began with a single decision: to track, to measure, and to improve relentlessly. When you know your current position, you gain the power to change direction. Of that awareness, how can you expect to reach your destination? If you don't know where you are, how can you know where to go? You need to hold yourself accountable, and that accountability starts with visibility. That is why successful people are so intentional about tracking their progress. It's not about perfection, it's about continuous improvement. When you track, you can pinpoint exactly where you need to put in more effort, where you're succeeding, and where you need to make changes. It's a clear roadmap to success. There is no mystery to it. A journal, a whiteboard, a spreadsheet. It doesn't matter what tool you use as long as you make tracking progress a daily habit. The key is consistency, not perfection. You don't have to be a perfect track record keeper. What you need is the commitment to never let a day go by without knowing where you stand. This act alone will elevate your progress from wishful thinking to a concrete reality. But let's dive deeper into why this is so critical. It's because when progress becomes visible, momentum becomes unstoppable. This is where most people falter. They set goals, but they don't track them, and then they wonder why their dreams stay out of reach. Progress is like a snowball. It starts small, but as you track, measure, and improve, it begins to pick up speed. That's when you start seeing results. That's when you feel a momentum shift, and everything you've been working towards starts coming together in a way that feels almost effortless. Every small win you track becomes a building block, a reinforcement of the belief that success is inevitable. But without tracking, without that clear awareness of your growth, those small wins remain invisible. And if progress is invisible, the momentum slows and eventually it stops. You cannot expect to move forward if you don't know where you're going. When you track progress, you ignite something within yourself. It's a spark that drives you to move faster, to push harder, and to keep going when others would quit. There is a profound psychological effect that happens when you see your efforts bearing fruit. It fuels your belief. And belief is what drives every successful individual to achieve the extraordinary. It is the belief that you are on the right path, that every action you take is one step closer to the person you aspire to become. So, why does it matter? Why is tracking so crucial to success? Because in the end, progress is a mirror. It reflects back to you the fruits of your labor, the sincerity of your commitment, and the strength of your discipline. It is an honest reflection of who you are becoming. And if you're willing to face that reflection with courage, to track and measure with relentless consistency, you will realize that success was never out of your reach. It was simply waiting for you to take action. It was waiting for you to start tracking, to start measuring, and to start improving. When you track your progress relentlessly, you tap into an inexhaustible well of potential. You stop working in the dark, and instead you begin to chart a course toward success with clarity, confidence, and unshakable belief. It's the act of relentless tracking that transforms your goals from abstract ideas into concrete realities. It's the only way to ensure that you're not just hoping for success, but that you're actively creating it, one step at a time. And once that momentum starts, nothing can stop you. The power of your environment is undeniable. It's the invisible force that shapes your thoughts, your habits, and ultimately your destiny. We all know that energy is contagious. Whether it's the energy of optimism, discipline, or lethargy, it spreads. And just like any virus, it can either lift you higher or drag you down. The key to sustaining success and achieving greatness lies in surrounding yourself with people who vibrate at the frequency you want to achieve. So let me ask you, who are you spending your time with? Are they raising your standards, pushing you to be your best, or are they pulling you down to a place of complacency? Think about the most successful people in the world. What do they all have in common? They don't just happen upon success. No, they surround themselves with people who are committed to growth, to discipline, to excellence. Take, for example, someone like Tom Brady. We all know him as the NFL quarterback who defied the odds and became one of the greatest to ever play the game. But what many people don't realize is that his success wasn't solely dependent on his own drive and determination. His success was a product of the energy around him. His trainer, his chef, his sleep environment, every part of his life was designed to ensure his consistency and discipline were never compromised. Every person in his circle was aligned with his mission. They were handpicked to support his success, to elevate him, and to hold him accountable. And in return, Brady became the kind of person who wouldn't settle for anything less than greatness. You see, you don't just become successful because of your own individual efforts. It's the people you surround yourself with that can either propel you to new heights or keep you stuck in the same place. If you want to be disciplined, surround yourself with disciplined people. If you want to be successful, surround yourself with successful people. You can't hang around people who are comfortable with mediocrity and expect to achieve extraordinary results. It's not possible. The energy of those around you will either push you forward or hold you back. But let's take this one step further. It's not just about hanging around people who are successful. It's about surrounding yourself with people who are consistently striving for improvement. Consistency is the key to success. And just as discipline is contagious, so is inconsistency. If you spend too much time around people who normalize unpredictability, those habits will begin to infiltrate your own life. You'll start making excuses. You'll find yourself justifying why you didn't wake up early, why you didn't finish that project, why you let things slide. And before you know it, your own standards will lower without you even realizing it. The people you spend your time with have a profound influence on your habits. They shape the way you think, the way you work, and the way you approach challenges. When you surround yourself with people who are disciplined, who are always striving for better, you begin to absorb that energy. It becomes part of you. You start holding yourself to higher standards because, quite simply, that's the energy that's surrounding you. You become who you surround yourself with. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but I can't just choose my friends or the people I work with. And while it's true that we may not always have control over every relationship in our lives, you always have control over the energy you allow to influence you. If you find yourself surrounded by people who don't align with your vision or your values, it's time to make a change. You can either find a new circle or you can start creating one yourself. It's not easy, and it might feel uncomfortable at first, but the rewards are worth it. You deserve to be around people who will lift you up, challenge you, and inspire you to do better every single day. In the pursuit of success, there's no room for complacency, and there's certainly no room for inconsistency. You cannot afford to spend time with people who are fine with procrastination, with mediocrity, with excuses. Your time is too valuable. Your dreams are too important. If you truly want to achieve greatness, you have to surround yourself with people who remind you of your potential, people who challenge you to stretch beyond your limits and push past your comfort zone. These are the people who will help you stay consistent even when the going gets tough. The truth is, success is not a solo journey. It's a collective effort. The people you associate with can either help you rise or keep you grounded. And that's why it's so important to be intentional about who you allow into your life. Choose people who inspire you to be better, who remind you of your purpose, and who will not let you settle for less than you're capable of achieving. Your tribe is everything. And if you can't find your tribe, create it. Find people who share your values, who want to see you succeed, and who will hold you accountable. Create a community of like-minded individuals who will motivate you, support you, and push you when you need it most. Because at the end of the day, your consistency depends on it. Remember, success is not about having a single moment of brilliance. It's about the consistent effort, the discipline, and the unwavering commitment to your vision. And that consistency is sustained by the energy of those around you. Surround yourself with the energy that fuels your purpose, that lifts you higher, that drives you to be your best. And in doing so, you will find that your own consistency becomes a reflection of the people you keep in your life. There's a voice in your soul that says, keep going, listen to it. Don't wait for the perfect mood, the ideal circumstances, or a round of applause. The world doesn't reward potential, it rewards execution. Champions aren't born, they are built in the shadows, in the silence, in the daily decision to do what needs to be done. So build consistency like a champion, and I promise the world will have no choice but to call you one.